What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Marketing Ping Pong podcast. My name is Duncan.
And my name is Ali.
And today we are going to be breaking down a business in terms of marketing, taking a look at it, seeing how we would market it, how we would grow it, and we're going to have a lot of fun. I am excited for this episode because I picked the business. That's what we do. We go back and forth every week. We pick a business. And lately we've been doing fun business, boring business, and it is my turn today to pick a boring business. At the end of the last episode, I gave some hints and some clues about what this one might be. And again, really excited because it's not like a lot of the other businesses that we've done. We've done a lot of service businesses. We've done some B2B businesses. We've done food service. And this one is outside of the realm of the common businesses that you normally see. It is boring, but not on purpose. Usually they are trying to be fun, trying to be exciting, and they miss the mark most of the time. And if any of my clients that have this kind of business are listening, I am not making fun of you. This is a very common problem with a lot of businesses. And do you have any guesses? Do you have any idea?
I don't know. Once you said if any of my clients are listening, I'm like trying to think through your clients really, really quickly.
Yep.
But I can't, I have no idea what it is. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be fun, but everybody does it boring.
Yep.
I have no idea.
That's okay. So today we are going to be talking about destination marketing companies. And what I mean by that is a business that gets money from grants from the government to promote tourism for the local town or the local economy. All right. So that's a local business, right? So it's like hyper local because their literal job is to promote the local economy, try and drive the economy and grow local business, right, through their marketing efforts. And the business model essentially is they apply for grants to the government that say, hey, we're going to do this marketing initiative to try and bring more foot traffic to these businesses or more out of town tourism to this area. And a lot of them are trying really hard, but don't have the right things in place to actually leverage what they've built, right? And, a lot of them have really big Facebook pages, really big email lists of people that are interested in knowing what's going on in the town, and they don't have either the technical skills or the marketing skills to really tap into that. So what do you think about this local business?
No, I think this is way outside of the box of anything I would have guessed. Even when you said it, I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah, so it's very, very different. I want clarity.
Sure.
So I was part of an organization that kind of did this, and I'm sure we'll talk about this. Are we looking for how to promote to the local area, like shop downtown sort of thing? Or are we looking at Naples, Florida is a great place to vacation with your family?
That's a good question.
That's not local, right?
Yeah.
Shop downtown is usually towards the local people.
Yeah, let's do the shop downtown one, right? It's like we're trying to build. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, we're trying to build like a local community, or that kind of shop small thing, right? A downtown area,
I'm
a small.
All for it.
Yep, that's the business. Yep.
Okay, I'm all about that. So I think, in my humble opinion, I think the best way to start this is with stories, because really understanding like how these organizations work and the things that are kind of against them, and then our own perspective, and then jumping into how we would actually do it. So my background is with the Sandusky Main Street Association. Not calling them, I think they're defunct now, so I'm not even trying to like protect anybody. I don't think they even exist. But we had opened a shop in a downtown area, our downtown Sandusky. It was dead, but somewhat reviving when we opened the shop. So that would have been about 2005. And pretty quickly, the Main Street Association found me, and they asked me to be on a committee, and they asked me to be on another committee because I actually showed up and I did stuff, and I was on their promotional committee. So part of the job was not necessarily nationwide. Sandusky, Ohio is a great place to vacation, but it was much more the local communities, letting them know that downtown is a vibrant living place where they want to be. And then also just kind of doing things like billboards and whatever that we're from a tourist town, a tourist town. We have one of the largest amusement parks in the country with the best roller coasters in the country. We have 5 water parks, indoor water parks
Wow.
in like either in the city or directly around the city. So we have a lot of tourism. Plus, we're right on the lake. We got the boaters, the marinas. There's a lot of tourism that comes into Sandusky. And so their idea was, as people are coming in for the other things, how do we promote downtown as a place to go?
Yep.
So that's my history with this sort of thing. I was with them from 2005 till 2011. And I ran the local farmers market, which was very local too. So how do we get the local people to come downtown to come to the farmers market? And I did a couple of other events as well. Some good, some bad. Um, and it was very frustrating. And that's a lot of what I want to talk about in this episode, because I think the boring is there because of the bureaucracy that is there.
Yeah, I was gonna
And
say
that's the
it's there
biggest
because of the other B word.
problem.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's like you're trying to work with a large group of people, and they all
Mm.
have opinions. And
Mm.
on a board, if you're beholden to a board, generally speaking, all of their opinions are weighted similarly. Like, you're not dealing with like a main decision maker that gets to override everybody else. In some cases you are, but most of the time everyone's trying to be diplomatic, and there's a lot of layers that things have to go through to get approved, and there's just so much red tape. And I understand how that can kind of gum up the works. And we do this kind of thing in every episode where we're like, well, we don't know what the laws are about a bank, that what they're going to say about us being able to do this marketing strategy. And I think that in this case, we might be able to say, like, we're going to make our own one of these, and we're going to put people on the board that are going to do whatever we want. We're just going to put yes men in there. So we don't have to deal with that quite as much as anybody else would. Because I think you can build a business like that, right? Like, you build a business with the people that you want to be with, and you want to work with, and that have the same vision as you, hopefully. But there is something to be said there about, you're applying for grant funding. So you do also have to kind of have you do kind of have to play the system a little bit. You have to play within the lines a little bit. So I think keeping both of those things in mind, what do you think your first step would be? We don't really have to
I am
like get
totally going to
custom.
ignore your rule first
Okay.
because I have rants. Now I'm going to make two short examples because I want people to understand what actually happens. You talk about like the bureaucracies. I have 2 short stories I can tell
Yeah.
about like bureaucracies and all of that ends up gumming these sorts of organizations. And this is why, like, as much as my heart is into nonprofits, and I would love to help nonprofits, this is ultimately why I don't get involved in nonprofits the way that I would like to as far as marketing, because of these problems. You're absolutely right. There's a board made up of people from different backgrounds. Not any of them particularly are marketing experts, right? And they always think it's a great idea to bring a marketing person on. But then they all take from their perception of what it looks like to market a downtown. So
Mm-hmm.
my 2 quick examples. One, we had early on when I first joined, we had somebody recommend that we should have a billboard. Should have a billboard on Route 6. As people are coming in, they'll see this billboard and it's going to tell them to shop downtown. I was very early in my marketing education. So I'm like, I don't know what I would put on a billboard. Like, billboards aren't my thing. I'm not quite sure. And I've learned more since then. And so I was on the promotions committee. Well, first of all, they said it's going to cost $1,000 to put up a billboard. So one of the guys stands up, pulls out his wallet, pulls out 10 $100 bills and says, put the billboard up.
Love it.
I know. It was such a power move. Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
still think about that to this day. I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
wow, that was really cool.
Yep.
And so we meet in committee, And the guy in charge of the committee is literally like, which colors work best in advertising? Allie, you know about marketing and advertising, which colors work best? I'm like, well, I use yellow a lot and I use blue a lot. And so they made it a yellow billboard with blue text.
Oh man.
The entire billboard is yellow. Then there's blue text that simply says downtown Sandusky. And then there's a smaller square picture. I mean, it doesn't even fill up the billboard. A smaller square picture of one of the buildings, not even the most interesting building,
Oh no.
but like a street view of the building. And that was our billboard.
Oh no.
And there was no convincing. And this was the moment where I learned the phrase, a camel is a horse built by committee.
Mm.
And that's it was terrible. It was terrible. It was a Frankenstein of a billboard that came from this person had this idea and that person had that idea. And nobody there, I wasn't qualified to create that billboard. Like at the time, I'm like, I don't know anything about billboard advertising. And I don't know that I would have said $1,000 was best to be spent on a billboard.
Sure.
So that was the one story. $1,000 just flushed down the toilet. Like
Yep.
It was the ugliest thing. It was so ugly. It was so bad. So the second time we had something happen, we had the local paper had contacted us and said, a local paper, not our city, but next town over, they want to do a whole insert about all the different downtowns in the area. And this really speaks to the reason why I want to tell this story is she was the ad rep, right? She's spearheading this promotion. And this is another reason why everybody's boring. So one, trying to build things by committee, everybody being diplomatic, everybody getting a say, everybody's opinion weighted, whether or not they know what they're talking about or not.
Oh man.
But the other side is these organizations are being pitched by ad reps, right? And the ad rep comes in with a vision. This is how we're going to spend your money. And look, we're doing this for you. We're going to give you this great deal. And we'll get your name out there. We'll promote your downtown for you. So
that phrase just like hurts. Like, we'll get your name out there. It's like, oh,
I hate it. I hate it so much. So the ad rep comes to me. I'm head of promotions at this point, or at least I believe that's what was happening. I think I was a committee of one at that. So this organization was like slowly imploding and dying. And so she comes to me and she says, hey, here's the spread. This is what we're doing. And this is what everybody else has submitted. Or this is how we did it the previous year. This is what everybody submitted. Would you like to do an ad? And I'm like, all right, it's in the budget. We'll do the ad because it is kind of something that's picked up by the tourists. We'll do an ad. But everybody's ad was like, come to downtown Oak Harbor, come to downtown Port Clinton, and flowers, like pictures of flowers from their downtown.
Yep.
It was literally every single ad looked exactly the same. Now in downtown Sandusky, we have some fantastic flowers. Like we have like a really, really cool downtown. We have a giant clock that they change out the date on every single morning.
Nice.
Really cool stuff. So I'm like, I don't want to do any of that. They're all doing full color and pictures. So I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to do black and white and text.
Nice.
So I made an ad that even I thought, like, I don't know if this is going to work or not, but it's definitely going to stand out from what everybody else is in. And so we did a top 7 reasons to visit downtown Sandusky. And it was a list of different things that they could see: the restaurants, the waterfront, the parks, all the cool things that we have in downtown Sandusky. And it went, so I submitted it, and the ad rep's like, Allie, would you like to have lunch with me? I'm like, sure, we'll have lunch. She was a very nice lady. So we go to lunch, and she's like, we can't go to print. She came with her manager, I believe. We can't go to print with this like this. We really ask you to change your ad. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not going to do it.
No.
And they're like, no, see what everybody else did? Do you see what everybody else did? If you could create an ad like that, then that would be good. So we highly recommend you don't run this ad. You got to run something else. And I'm like, yeah, no, you asked me to submit an ad. There's no rules saying what my ad must look like.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want my ad to look like everybody else's ad. And they begged. They ended up running it, but not before they called a board member.
Oh my God.
Hold on me. But they ended up running it because they were out of time. They had to run it, and we were paying
Yep.
for the spot, so they had to run it. And I didn't give them anything else.
Hmm.
So we ran it. I come to the next board meeting, and here's this board member that they called who considers herself a marketing person,
Hmm.
not the kind of marketing we would call marketing,
Hmm.
right? And she, in front of all the board members, opens up that paper and she's like, "What an embarrassment. We need to have systems and checks in place that
Oh,
something like this never happens again. I cannot believe this was approved." Ali just went and did it on her own. And like
mm,
I was young at the time. I'm like, oh my God. Like everybody looked like I was bold to the ad reps, but sitting there at the board meeting with some of the most influential people in my town, like looking at me like, what did you do?
sure.
And I did have a guy stand up for me. He's like, "Did you talk to Ali first?" And she's like, "No." And he goes, "I think that was very unprofessional for you to come in here and just like
Ambush you.
blindside her like that." Yeah. But again, it goes to the ad reps wanted a pretty spread.
Yep.
They wanted something that was pretty. And if you
Yeah.
have people on these organizations that are not, don't know anything about marketing, they're going to say, "Oh, well, we'll just be pretty." But then you're spending money to make it look the way the ad reps want it to look. And you're probably not going to get any traction from it at
It's
all. Nothing's
almost an
going to happen.
ad. It's almost an ad for the ad reps. It's
Yeah.
like that's what signals to other businesses like, "Oh wow, I could have a pretty ad in this publication." But that doesn't do anything for the consumer. It's what we keep saying over and over again, like what is in it for them? It's like there's
Yep.
nothing in it there for there's nothing that says what's in it there for the potential person who might want to come to the town. Um, it really is just like businesses to buy pretty ads, and that's like that's
And
crazy.
for the organization, it's an ego trip, right? Look
Yep.
at us. We got this beautiful ad
Yep.
in the whatever, I can't even remember the name of it, but we got this beautiful ad in this publication and it looks so nice. And everybody's, "Oh, let's show it to all our buddies. Look, look,
Yep.
look, we have this ad." Everybody's patting each other on the back. And ultimately, like in that way, they are getting their money's worth from their perspective because they're part of the organization. They're on the board for a lot of times, especially this kind of organization, for the ego boost it's given them that they're part of what's happening and moving downtown.
Yep.
And so to them, money well spent. Look at how beautiful it is. And my metric was completely different. My metric was how many more people could we get down here, which is very difficult to track. So we did
Hmm.
have like a little URL on there that we could track. And the guy in charge of the organization's like, "Well, I don't know." Like he didn't know how to read the stats, and he's the one who had to look at them. And it just, I'm like, whatever. I'm just so that from then out, I pretty much just ran the farmer's market and like
Sure.
told everybody else to leave me alone.
Yep.
And they would try, and that's one more thing is you talk about the one person versus the group of people. They would try to have a say in what I was doing. And every single time it was from people who hadn't even been down to the market, didn't
Yep.
know anything about marketing, didn't know anything about the proper mix that we needed to have down there. "Well, I don't think you should have this vendor." I'm like, "Have you actually been down there?" "No, but it seems like that wouldn't be the right kind of vendor for this sort of event." And I'm like, "Then shut up."
Yeah. Yeah. You know where to take your opinion. You know what to do with your opinion. Yeah.
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 And it was
Jeez.
very frustrating. And it's ultimately why I quit the first time and why I quit the second time, because they kept trying to make it a committee.
Yeah.
And they kept trying to make it like, "Hey, we have our own agenda of what we want to accomplish. We don't really care what's actually going down there, but we want to push our agenda through." So these are all of the things that make these types of organizations that are promoting a specific area of town, the town in general, or a specific area of town, um, that makes them absolutely ineffective because
Mm.
nobody is at the helm. And I said, one person with one good idea could come down and change more about the downtown than this entire organization can. And that's exactly what happened. We had a guy come down and open a upscale French restaurant.
Nice.
Again, our downtown at the time was dead. And everybody was laughing at him. Nobody is going to pay that kind of money for an upscale French restaurant with crumbling buildings all around them. And they proved them wrong. That place was hopping. They opened a second location, then a third location. They took different concepts. So they opened up another location that was more of a wine bar, and then another one that was a pizzeria, and then a taco place near the marina. And I think they
Nice.
ended up with 5 or 6. They had a coffee shop. They had 5 or 6 businesses down there, and all of a sudden, everybody else wants to open a restaurant downtown
Yep. Yep.
because they're seeing the line out of zinc and the fact that they can't like even get in. They make reservations, and that doesn't happen in our town.
Yep.
So that one person or a couple that came in made more change for that location than all of the committees, the committees, all the entire organization, and even the city,
Yep.
everybody that was trying to help downtown. So that is where I will get off my rant about these sort of things and say, rules be darned. We're going to keep it clean. Rules be darned. If we have this sort of organization, it's got to be run by marketers that has a single yes or no type person. That it needs to be run like a business, honestly.
Yep.
It's a nonprofit that needs to be run like a business. It's just that the employees are paid through grants, and because we have to go through grants and fundraisers and all the different things in order to get the money to run it.
Do you know if there are like for-profit businesses that are run this way? It's like is it like a marketing co-op kind of thing that people could pay into? Because I know that there's like some of them do it that way, where they're like, hey, here's this thing that I'm trying to do, and they go to all the businesses and raise money for the thing. Like I know that that's a part of it too.
I
And you can
have,
pay to be a member of a group, like they can
yeah,
have yearly memberships and stuff like that for the businesses. And I feel like it's possible to do that as like a for-profit company. It doesn't have to be a nonprofit, but you would have to have some sort of, I don't know if you'd need a track record, but it would be hard to like go into a place and be like, look, I'm going to
just
turn
give
this
me,
downtown around. And they're like,
yeah.
who are you? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
nonprofit definitely gives nonprofit status gives you that kind of I'm doing this out of the goodness of my heart and not in order to make a buck. Now,
yep.
the director of our nonprofit made his bucks without doing much of anything. So, I mean, it was for profit for him.
Yep.
So, I mean, somebody's always getting paid. So, whether nonprofit or not, it is easier to knock on a door and say this is a nonprofit. I think it does give them more security.
Sure.
Before there was the Downtown Main Street Association, there was just a loose group of, I keep wanting to say vendors, but merchants from the downtown area that had gotten together, and they would do silly little things like, let's all make bookmarks with all of our names on the bookmark. And then when somebody shops at your shop, you give them the bookmark, and they'll keep the bookmark because the bookmark is useful. And so then they're going to see all the names of all the other shops, and there we are cross promoting each other. So that was like, it wasn't a nonprofit. It was kind of a co-op-y type thing.
Sure.
But I don't know if they were paying into it at all, or just like, hey, let's all do this thing.
Sure.
Main Street definitely was. Obviously, if you have a downtown business and you have this organization there, and you don't join, you can still profit from what they're doing. But I would say more than half of the businesses would actually join and pay. So I don't know. I think if you have a nonprofit,
You think the benefit of having the nonprofit outweighs the kind of payment?
I think so. If it has then the director needs to be the CEO entrepreneur.
Sure.
They need to hire a director that is a CEO entrepreneur type person who leads the conversation with the board.
Yep.
So if you're going to run it as a nonprofit, you've got to have somebody strong in that situation that is leading the board and that the board can trust. On the flip side, that the board's like, we hired this person because this is the person we think who can do it best.
Yeah.
Just like the CEO. I mean, it's really not that different than being the CEO of a company, right?
Yep.
You have a board still. So you just need to have the right board there, that hired you and says, all right, you're the expert, you go take care of things. And we'll just step in when it's big stuff, fundraising or big problems that arise.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way you can do it. And that
Yeah.
and that CEO/director, that person needs to be us, right? Needs to be us, and good at operations, like, needs to have that in order to drive this sort of thing, to not make it boring. Otherwise, I just don't. If you put just a purely operational person in charge of that, and then they hire a marketing person, you're going to have conflict,
Yep.
because the CEO doesn't get it. The director doesn't get it. They don't get it. And that's a big problem with corporations today. When you have a CEO that's an operational person, which is what they're supposed to be, and they don't understand the marketing side of things, they're going to be a much more gun shy, less willing to take risks, more playing it safe and staying with the herd. This is what everybody else does. So you need to have a marketing person, an outside the box person that the board trusts in that director position.
Yeah.
To me, that's the only way I can imagine it.
Yep. I love that. I think that it's realizing that they are different roles, like just like they are in a company. You have your CEO, and then you have your CMO, who's your chief marketing officer, and like they are very different lanes that you need to like be experienced in and be able to think in. And hiring for that, I think, is the right idea, or having the person in charge be both of those things, which is hard, right? It's hard to
It's hard.
find somebody
Yeah,
that has both of those, but it can be done, and I
and
think
I
we
think
could do
it'd be
it.
better if you had a marketing person in charge that then hires an operation person than to have an operations person hiring a marketing person, because
Yep.
the operations is almost by default not that creative and by the rules, and how do we set up systems and rules,
Very
and
consistent.
marketing is
Yep.
creative and out of the box and all of that. So when you have the rules person in charge of the marketing person, you're putting the marketing person in a box. But if the
Yep.
marketing person is charged of the rules person, and the marketing person says, let me fly, but you make sure everything is running smoothly.
Yeah.
I think that works much better, because now you don't have somebody over the marketing person
Yeah.
being.
It's like, let me fly. You make sure there's gas in the plane. Like,
Exactly. No, I
yeah,
love that.
no. Yeah. Yeah. So that's great. Now I think we need to tackle the fun marketing stuff. Let's
Yes,
talk
that's
marketing.
the fun stuff. All the
Yeah.
stuff I wanted to do. I'm so excited now, because I'm like, I had so many ideas for all of those years. Like, these are so cool things that we could do. And cool things that we did do that could have been even bigger and better if we would have had more creativity and money. And so we're going to pretend we have the money. Although I don't mind, that does, it has a dual job, right? So we would do fundraisers like, we would do, what do I want to call it? It was Oktoberfest. We could make a lot of money from Oktoberfest for the organization selling the beer at the beer tent. At the same time, we're bringing a lot of people in. So sometimes it's dual purpose.
Yeah, I love that. And I wanted to talk. You mentioned stories. I think that stories is where my being media company video guy, that's where I go first. It's like there are so many interesting people in every community around the country that you would just never know about. You wouldn't know that they existed. And I think telling those stories as a way to get people excited and make them proud about the place that they live and want to be more involved in the things that are going on, I think that's one of the great ways to do it. So I think that a lot of our money would go into really really targeted like video production efforts that tell stories of the people and businesses of are we going to call it a downtown area. um,
Yeah, I mean, we're already there. If
yeah,
you want to
yeah.
be somewhere else, that's fine. But
No,
like,
no, I like downtowns. Yeah.
downtown
Yeah.
is specific.
Sure.
It's kind of, it has this whole idea of eating, parks, museums.
Yeah,
It's like a place
history.
for people to
Yeah.
come and do things. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I like that. I really think that stories would be one of my my big things too. That's why I wanted to bring it back up. You mentioned it earlier, and I was like, I don't want to forget it. I want to tell
I don't remember
stories.
even saying it, but I'll trust you.
No, maybe it was before we got on the podcast.
Maybe,
I don't
maybe.
know. Well, I want to tell stories. So what
Okay.
do you think about that?
No, I love that. I love that. And again, it's taking me back to in my hometown, there was a production company, a video production company that was going around doing. I'll need to send you this one. It's a the one that really stood out to me was a guy who um, um, he so when they demo a house, houses up north, they're 100 years old, so they've got the old woodwork and the stained glass, and he goes in and rescues it. There's a word for it, but goes in and rescues that stuff, and then he sells it. But he also kind of built out his entire house with this stuff, so it's
Nice.
really cool. And they did a beautiful video about him and him talking about struggling with dyslexia his whole life.
Mm.
And I actually showed it to my youngest because they have dyslexia. And I'm like, you got to watch this. You got to watch this video about this guy. And he was like, I think things differently. You know, I put floors on ceilings and I put doors upside down. Like I look at things differently and I do it all differently. And there were so many of these great stories. There was also a men's clothing store downtown and they did a video for him and they made him look so slick. Like it's so good. But yeah, those were stories that were not go down to Eric's Clothing and buy your next suit. But like, why is he selling men's suits? What does he think about style? You know what I'm saying? And
Yep.
so it was really, and it gave just this whole feeling of being in his shop and being in an old timey, high class,
Yep.
like men's clothing shop. And
Yes.
he's tight. Like his get up is tight.
Yeah.
And it's really, really great. So I love that idea. And I'm also thinking, so I want to go more into video,
Mm.
but when you said stories, my brain immediately went to Humans of New York. Do you follow them on
Oh
Facebook?
yeah. Yeah. For sure. Yep.
I mean, so anybody listening to this, if you haven't gone to Humans of New York, you don't know what you're missing. That sometimes I have to scroll by because it's just too much. Like it's so heart wrenching, and you hear these real stories from real people and their struggles and their joy and like what they're doing that day, and it's done in such a beautiful way. But I could see something like that even being done with people shopping downtown,
Hmm.
people owning the shops downtown, people I don't know, people living downtown, just their different
Yeah.
stories and what they remember about downtown. Like
Yes.
when I was a kid, we had this, but do it in a humans. Everybody needs to go to Humans of New York.
Hundred
Like,
percent.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I think it's just tapping into that idea that we bring up, and I saw you post recently that everything is content. I think that when we really say everything, it's like at the core of that, it's the people that you're involved with, and like the people that you're interacting with in your business and in your day-to-day life. They are interesting. Like most people have interesting stories and lives that you just have no idea about, and tapping into that and putting it on film or writing it and then putting it out to people and using it as a way um, to build stronger connections, to help people build stronger connections with their community, is a really powerful strategy for sure. Um,
You
yeah.
might make me cry this episode. Like this is the kind of stuff that gets me, and this is why I was so involved in our downtown for so long, because that sense of community and that's what an organization like this,
Hmm.
it's not just about marketing so the businesses get more business. I want the businesses to get more business. I want them to be so successful. But it's kind of like that pride of place and that feeling of belonging. This is where I'm from. And it's so easy to only hear the negative, the police blotter and the people complaining in the Facebook groups and just all the negativity around it. But to be an organization where you're the source of memories and pride and community and support, I just that stuff gets me. You bring people together, and that's, we talked about this in the truck episode, right? You bring all these people that have the interest in trucks together, And that's like the engine that drives the whole thing. Then
Yep.
you're just putting products in front of them, right? And if you can do that for an entire community,
That's
that
massive.
you're bringing everybody together and then that engine starts driving it, and you do that in a really smart marketing way, that you are highlighting all the wonderful things about your community and telling those stories. I just think you're right. It's like all of these organizations have this amazing golden opportunity at their fingertips,
Yep.
and they just can't seem to
Click.
bridge that gap. And it's what
Yeah.
we did for the farmers market page. We told stories. We told the story. We had a little old lady who sold crochet. She crocheted the tops on towels. She was 90 some years old. She came down with her husband, who was a couple of years older than her. And she came down for 10 years selling
Wow.
these towels. And her husband passed away. And so she came down a couple of years after that. Her daughter would bring her down. Her daughter's like in her 60s. And she finally, the daughter came to me and said, "Ali, next week's going to be mom's last week. Like,
Hmm.
she doesn't even know how to do the crocheting anymore. She's like forgotten. We just have the stock left over." And so we went to the Facebook page, took a picture of Miss Croto, and wrote the whole story about her. And the whole reason why she was making these towels is because her granddaughter was killed in a drunk driving accident when she was 7.
Ugh.
And she would crochet the towels and donate the money to the school library where her granddaughter went to school. Like, I
Ugh.
just got goosebumps everywhere. It was
The,
so wonderful.
it's like I don't know. It's almost like some of these episodes just it's like you don't need much more than that. Those stories are everywhere. Everywhere. And like your
So the
town
next
was
week, after publishing that, the next week, her daughter came down to me and, like, with tears in her eyes, "Ali, thank you so much." She's
yep.
like, people didn't stop coming. She had her best day she ever did in sales.
Yep.
And she was just like so touched and flattered that people were coming and buying 3, 4 towels and thanking her and telling
Mhm.
her how they're using the towels and giving her hugs. And so her
Yep.
last day, because I understood the power of storytelling and I understood marketing, and because I had built that community up in the first place, I was able to tell her story at 90 some years old and give that lady one of the best days of her life.
Mm.
Right? It seems like a small thing, but for her, that market was, even when she was sick, she was like a tiny little 95-year-old woman. And she's like, "No, I'm going to the market."
Yep.
And to have
Mhm.
just this huge crowd of market patrons just descend on her and tell her how much they loved her and her towels and how much they appreciated her, and what great work she did over the years. And then she died that winter.
Jeez.
Like, to be able to give that to her, it was huge.
Yeah.
And it's stories. And you're right, the stories are everywhere. The
Yep.
stories are just everywhere.
Yeah, it's so powerful, and not to bring it back down to marketing, but that's what we're talking about here. It's like
That was marketing. That was marketing. And that's why I
the
think people don't recognize that
yes,
story was marketing.
yeah, it builds that instant connection with the person, with the product, and it's like pride in your community, proud that that exists in your community, proud that people like that exist, and the urge to go support them, right? And you that's not like a one-off, catching lightning in a bottle thing. Like those, like I said, those people are everywhere. Those stories are everywhere. And one of the many tactics or strategies that we have as marketers is relaying those stories in a way that it makes people feel things. And
Mhm.
that's it. Like purchasing decisions are emotional, whatever the stat is, 98% of the time, and being able to communicate that emotion and that relay that emotion effectively will always be a winning strategy. Always.
Yes, absolutely. And if you can do that in video, I'm going to send you that video I was telling you about, because I think
Sure.
you'd really like that. To be able to do that in video, I think that both work really well. Humans of New York, I appreciate not in video. There's something so pure about it written out, where you're reading it just as almost matter of factly in your head. When I read it almost like it's matter of factly delivered. It's no strong emotion one way or another. It's just purely this is this person's experience, and it's so touching.
There's
But
something too
video
that
has
happens. There's something too that happens when it's an image, as opposed to a video. In a video, you are able to impart judgment based on someone's mannerisms a lot
mhm.
more. And you tend to do a thing with an image where you build a story or a narrative of who that person is based on whatever context you have, and that lets
Mhm.
the person who's writing it build more of a compelling narrative, or at least shape it in a way that builds a consistent brand, just like Humans of New York, right? Like they omit things and kind of condense things and take out the beginning of whatever the person said in the end and just
It's
leave.
so simply written.
Yes, yeah,
It's so
and
simple. I don't know if I have the time to be that simple. Like
yeah,
it's got to take it really does take a talent to distill that one message, that one thing they want to get across
yeah.
in
Hmm.
that.
Very specific talent, and I think that you can. It's comes down to branding, which I think we don't talk about a lot, like being able to create pieces of content consistently that are different and engaging but have a unifying theme is like brand psychology. That's what that is about, in my opinion, when it comes to content. And that's what Humans of New York does really well. And I think that if you really sit down and have that conversation, or you take the time to think about how to do that, but for our own downtown, you can come up with a unique way to do it, right? Like it's out there. You just have to figure out what that is and then refine it as you do it, and stick to it once you get it right. So
And the mistake that a novice marketer or somebody who's been to marketing school, been through, gotten their degree, the mistake they're
communications
going to make
degrees,
is
yeah,
they're going
yeah,
to tell that story, and then they're going to say, you know, Eric's clothing shop is located on blah 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 Market Street, and he's
here's their
open from
number.
these days to these days, and here's his number, and
Yeah,
call him.
here's the
That's the
website.
mistake
Yeah,
they're all going to make,
yeah,
because what the real magic happens when you have moved somebody to the point where they're now seeking out, where is Eric's? What? And I do that. I see a little bit of something. I'm like, wait a minute, where is this? And I'm Googling or I'm checking on Facebook to see if they have a Facebook page. And now I'm in the discovery phase, not the being sold to phase.
yep,
Because when I'm being sold to, I instantly have the wall up, like, hey, wait a minute, like I don't want you telling me what to do. But if I feel like I'm so moved by that story, I want to check them out. And now I'm taking extra action to find out where are they, what's the address, all of that, then I'm more likely to go because I took those extra steps. I'm invested now, right? I'm invested. I looked up further information. Now I've got to follow through. Next time I'm downtown, we got to stop in there
yep.
because I saw that story about him and it was really, really cool. Or
Okay,
or
so
I'm treasure hunting downtown. Ooh, I saw that story and that story, and let's see if we can find that other person that was mentioned. I know they have a shop down here somewhere.
yeah, I love that. So that's going to be our stories series. Maybe something like Small Town Famous can be the name of our series there, or Local Legends or something like that.
I
I
love
like
it.
that. I like that a lot, and I feel like you can stretch that out into a lot of different pieces of content, right? So you can write those stories in your email. You can do picture and text kind of posts. You can do videos. You can write a longer form story about somebody in a blog on the website. You can submit it if it's like a feel good story of a person doing something really good without them talking about it, and you're trying to shine a light on them being really good. That's good for PR. You submit that to all the news places that are hungry for that kind of stuff. Like they want to know. So that'll get picked up pretty easily. So it's a single content idea that can be stretched out and used in a lot of different formats. And I love content like that. Um,
I
okay,
love
cool.
that so much,
Yeah. All right.
so
All
much.
right. What's next? So generally speaking, these businesses have, as far as I've seen, large email lists of people, either from their own efforts through their website when somebody searches for like downtown blankety blank and they want to subscribe to the newsletter, or I've seen them where they also take them from local businesses, or there's other ways that they can build the list. How do you email how do you email an entire city, Allie? And what do you
I
send them?
am I am like gearing up, man. I am ready to open the throttle on this
Okay.
bad boy because like I'm so excited. I'm
Yeah.
so excited. If you
I got
can't tell, I'm
I
super
gotta
excited.
say, one of my somebody that I work with, similar to this, they have a list of like 20 or 30,000 people, and I'm like, okay, like what are you doing with it? Like what do we got going on there? You know, and they just recently asked if I would come in and kind of help do some things. And I was like, yes, I'm in. Like whatever you need. Like don't say another word. I'm there. So I'll let you know how that goes, and maybe I'll use some of the ideas we think of today for that. So
Yes.
hit me with
So
the good stuff.
first, let's just go over to email list building.
Yeah.
Email list building. So we did this with the farmers market. We did collect emails. One thing we did was had them sign up for. So this is a simple thing you can do. You've got this is why I like downtowns too. You got a very tight geographical area. You can go in and reasonably talk to each of the different merchants, right? So even if they're not coming to meetings, you can at least go in and talk to them. Um, you get a list of them and I would give away money like we talked about that in the bank episode, just coupons that they can use downtown at any one of these merchants listed on the back. So a $5 coupon, but you have to sign up for it. So you sign up for it, we send you the coupon, and then the organization reimburses for that coupon. So if the merchant gets $150 worth of these coupons, they hand it back to the organization, they reimburse them with funds. It's trackable, right? We know that we've brought people downtown. We know that we've got them shopping. The other thing I would ask them to do is mark on the coupon how much did that person spend. So we can kind of track, are they just bringing in a $5 coupon or are they spending additional money? So that would be number one. Plus, you'd have the information of that person. The coupon would be a postcard, so you know who submitted the postcard.
Okay.
So that's number one. That's one way you can do it. Second way, oh my God, giveaways. The giveaway opportunities are ridiculous and endless and shall not be ignored. The giveaway opportunities, this is why I love local business so much, is because of the giveaway opportunities. But it can be difficult if you're if you have a business where like it's a really big product or service that you're giving away, or you don't want to give away the same thing over and over and over again. So in this case, when you are an organization promoting an area like a downtown, you have a mix. You have all kinds of them to choose from. You can change up your giveaways all stinking time. And if you can get the shops themselves or restaurants themselves, restaurants especially, you get restaurants in the downtown, easy peasy. This is like the easiest thing on the planet. Like dinner for two at Zinc would be like dinner for two at Zinc, and get Zinc to donate that. In return, we will email the entire list and let them know that this giveaway is happening for them to resubmit. So we give them a different little tag. These people are interested in Zinc. But Facebook ads, cheap local Facebook ads that say click here to enter this giveaway for this dinner for two at the high-end luxury French restaurant that is downtown.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer. Like
Yep.
that is the easiest slam dunk list building possible, because now you're getting people saying, yeah, I'd like to come downtown and eat.
Yep.
If you can get them to come downtown and eat, you can get them to come downtown and do other things as well.
Yep.
And then you're building this huge list, and we'll talk about what to do with the list otherwise. But yeah, I would just do giveaway after giveaway after giveaway. I would do at least a monthly giveaway, at the
least.
very least.
Yeah, there's more. There are more than enough businesses to do at least a monthly. In most downtown areas, at least a monthly giveaway for sure. And I like giveaways, like you said, because of the intent and because it adds that element of showmanship that we're always looking for. It's like there are these really cool, fun things to do in our downtown, and here they are. Like we're going to give you the opportunity to experience them in this sweepstakes giveaway. It's like a nice way to be a little bit more fun than a stuffy.
It's a way to advertise the business without advertising the business.
Yep.
Without saying, come buy from me. I'm giving. I'm giving, giving, giving. Look at what I'm giving. I'm giving all of these things. And while you're reading over what they're giving away, you're learning something about the business.
Yeah.
So everybody that's involved in that giveaway is walking away with some more information, or at least awareness that that business exists. So huge. I mean, the exchange, like absolutely now that I think, absolutely the restaurant needs to pay for, needs to donate the giveaway, because the ad exposure that they're going to get from that, when we do that through something like Facebook. See now, so when I was doing things with my organization, this is like '05 to 2011.
Hmm.
I think near the end, I had a Facebook page, and that was about it, and just a handful. You can go on page and see my old posts. They're still there. They haven't deleted the old stuff. And it was bad. It was really, really bad. When I took it back over years later, it got much, much better. So with that, we didn't have a lot of opportunities. It was print ads, radio ads. We didn't have the Facebook opportunities that we do now. And so now having an ad, like I'm almost frustrated that people aren't already doing this. The ads are so cheap. You can get a restaurant to donate the meals. You can literally it's a win-win for you and the restaurant, and for the people that are entering. Then what you can do is, at the end of the giveaway, you email everybody, announce who the winner is. Winner's got a claim. So half the time you're not even going to get a winner to claim. Like, it's ridiculous. I tried 3 times to give away a tent this year. I've only given 1 away. So half the time you don't even get them to claim. So winner has to claim, but you announce it via email. Everybody knows you're going to announce it via email. And for everybody else, they get a consolation prize.
Yeah.
Don't call it a consolation prize. They get second prize. Congratulations, you won second prize. Here's a $5 coupon. All you have to do is click the link below, and we'll send you a $5 coupon towards that specific restaurant. So this one would be just for that restaurant. And we could reimburse or figure out a deal or whatever it is.
Yep.
But then they fill out the information. We have a database. We send them all a $5 coupon, something that they can have in their hands. So we're making them jump through another hoop so we can see these are the people who are really, really interested. And then they get their little gift certificate in their hand, and they go and they get dinner or whatever.
Yeah.
Brain dead easy, stupid easy.
Yeah.
It's what people want.
Yep.
And like you said, the showmanship.
Yeah. People want it, and it's like you gotta tap into the things. You don't have to. It's much easier to tap into the things that people want. It's much easier to sell fun, much easier to sell, easier to sell candy than vegetables, kind of thing.
Absolutely.
So that's another reason why I love this. Even though I brought it up for the boring businesses, it is a fun one. It has a lot of potential for fun. Yeah.
It's endless fun.
So do you think that, changing gears just a little bit, I know we'll come back to email marketing. There are a lot of these. I know you probably got a lot more to say.
I'm like biting at the bit, man. I've been dying to have this conversation. I didn't even realize how much I've been dying to have this conversation.
Yeah. So there's a lot of them do local events, which I think is good. Like regular local events. I like the idea of having a farmer's market that meets somewhere in the downtown area. Mm-hmm. I like the idea of doing things to promote arts and culture. There's a lot of things that kind of, though, in my opinion, become almost normal, right? So it's like, it's normal to see a downtown do some sort of event where there's music. It's normal to see a downtown do some sort of event where there's food trucks and whatever else. So like, what do you have any ideas for like interesting kind of off the wall events? And this isn't something I really have been thinking about, so I don't have any ideas. I'm legitimately asking, are there any like unique off the wall downtown event ideas that you could throw my way?
No, that's going to be the fun of this conversation, is to figure out what those are. So okay. I know what we had. We had Oktoberfest, right? Okay. We did a Halloween parade. It wasn't a parade. It was just the kids would come downtown and trick or treat at all the different things. And we would give away a free pumpkin.
Sure.
So each kid, and we got the local farmer to donate pumpkins, and we'd give them, apple cider and things like that. So that was always good. And when the Main Street organization went defunct, we moved that to the farmers market, and we had a blast at the farmers market. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I just had an idea. I can't let this one slip away.
okay,
So,
go.
so you have small towns that do kind of like the community come together cherry pie with the lattice on it, and eat like the dunk tank where you're trying to throw it and dunk the mayor. Like that's like a very small town kind of thing that you can get away with in a town that doesn't have a ton of people, where most everybody knows each other. How great would it be to do like the scaled up version? It's like small town event, but like in a big town. Okay, so you're tracking a little bit. Okay. So I want to get the mayor of a large city to sit in a dunk tank and just have it be a lot harder to dunk him. But the reward for dunking him to be like $5,000 to this local charity, right? Or something crazy. So like take all those small town ideas and like take them and scale them up and make them a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit more intense. It's like a riff on, the classic thing, watermelon seed spitting, but it's not that because we don't do that here. Do you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Kinda. Okay. Is that a good idea or is that lame?
No, I mean, it's a good idea. It's just like each event finding what is the next level of that each thing. And I think you could do that honestly in a small town too. You could scale it back down and say, all right, it is difficult to dunk the mayor. But you also, you could win $500 if you do it. It's not just dunking him. So you could have, you can still make it harder and do that. By the way, a little bit of trivia. Sandusky is one of only 2 cities in the entire state of Ohio that does not have a mayor.
Wow.
So we don't even have a mayor. We have a city director and a city council.
So you're not just all running around like anarchy or anything?
No. Okay, we're not anarchists, but we don't elect the person who is in charge of us. We elect the council people who then bring on the mayor type person.
Sure. Yeah, that's interesting. So yeah, I like the bringing that small town kind of charm to different size towns. Not that we really decided what town we're doing this in. I just kind of map everything onto my idea of where I live, obviously. It's what I'm used to.
And I'm doing the same.
Yeah.
I've been trying to think Fort Myers at the same time because, down here, there's not, I don't think downtowns when I think Southwest Florida. It's a lot of sprawl. Like we're in Lehigh. There's no downtown in Lehigh.
No. Yep. And
Fort Myers definitely has one.
Yeah. I was just talking to somebody about this who's in the downtown community, and he's like, he was just saying how separate everything feels, right? You don't get that. It's hard to get that connection, feel that connection to your community, because you can't just like walk outside and like walk to a shop or like know, you don't like know your neighbors really even. You don't really talk to anybody unless you're like really outgoing and want that kind of thing. Most people have those walls up. And he was relating it to even bigger cities in California. It's like LA, you still have that large area where you can walk around and go to different restaurants and bars and places and just be.
We talked about this.
Did we?
Yeah, we talked about this. I was saying like in San Francisco that you can walk out of your hotel if you're saying like, but if you lived in an apartment, you walk out and everything's right there and connected and walkable.
Sure.
Where here nothing is, and you don't really interact with the people around you.
I've been like making a lot of friends that share similar sentiments because I know the person that I'm talking about. Like it was a few days ago that I had this conversation with him. We got to get on a call together. He's an interesting guy. But anyway, yeah, it's like it's just missing. Like you don't have that same feeling here. So I'm trying to like think of ways that you can. I don't know if fabricate's the right word. It's like how do you take that feeling and attach it to a place that people will come to experience that kind of feeling, that kind of charm.
I think that's what the email list is for. You know what I mean? Because even like if you're event marketing and you bring people down for an event, they're there for the event. They're not there because they love downtown or they want to support small or they have a strong sense of place. Like I don't have a sense of place with downtown Fort Myers, but we went to the music walk thing, right? because it was fun. It was a fun thing to do, and you did get to see the downtown. So it's a good way to expose people to downtown, but it doesn't actually necessarily give you that connection to it.
Yep.
And I think that's where the social media and the email marketing come in and tell the stories and tell the history. And when you start to learn, because like when we went on the music walk, the fact that we were there with you and Mariah, we had context to what
Yep.
we were seeing.
Yep.
But as tourists or as newcomers to this area, going down there out of context, we still would have had a good time, but there would have been less of a connection because we don't have that context. So if
Yep.
you assume that everybody's coming in without the context because you have so many people in this area that are not from here, my history is not here. My history is in Sandusky.
Sure.
I can give you lots of context. We go to Sandusky, you come up to Sandusky, I'll give you context, right? And so you'd be able to understand the area better. So we have to assume that almost nobody has context of what the downtown is. And we need to, I think
Provide it.
fabricate the right word. We need fabricate from existing real material, not like make it up out of thin air.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
We
have to
need
provide
to
the context.
aggregate it. It's like
Yes.
it's
Aggregate
there.
that.
It's
Yes.
there. We just need to collect it and distribute it. The context is there. The stories are there. The interesting people are there. It's like you gotta put it out in front of that audience, and that's the real shame to me sometimes is that some of these organizations have a massive audience, just massive, that they've built. Sometimes with money, sometimes with whatever, like the name association of the page, and it's like there's it's the same feeling that I get when I see a business not utilizing their email list correctly. It's like the same exact feeling. It's like, look at all these people. All you got to do is tap into that audience correctly, and you can have everything you want. You can have more than enough business, right? So yeah, I think telling stories and that's going to be the big one. And so what else we got? What else are we talking
Okay,
about today?
well, so we need to think of out of the box events,
Okay,
right?
we had ZombieCon for a while in
That
downtown.
would
That
be
was
fun.
fun, and it was like kind of a weird local kind of cultural thing
Mhm.
because a zombie movie was filmed in Fort Myers originally. That got very popular. I think was kind of the reason that it started, and then everybody dressed as zombies and went and walked around in downtown. And unfortunately, it's like the city grew and got to the point that there was some sort of negative event, like some fight or some shooting or something like that happened in the downtown area and kind of put a stop to it. So then the question is like, how do you? I don't know. We're getting outside the realm of marketing, kind of.
You gotta, yeah, and that's a tough thing. So, but we have Bike Week, which I think I mentioned in a previous episode, or we've
Mm-hmm.
talked about it. So we have Bike Week, which is a big motorcycle event. Not one of it's up there as far as size in the country, but it's not the big ones, but it's big. We bring in a lot of people over a 10-day period, and it's nothing but motorcycle sounds. And people die. People get stabbed. People get shot. People die in accidents. We had one run right into a brick wall and die just a couple doors up from us where we used to live. So yeah, people die. Bad things happen. They're shooting flames in the air that does not seem safe.
Fun.
Underage drinking, like all kinds of bad things are happening, but the city loves it. They absolutely love it. And you do get the naysayers. And I think it takes a strong city manager to say, look, yeah, there are downsides, but those downsides are going to be wherever this event is held. We might as well hold it here. They want the event. Somebody's going to host the event. It might as well be us. Right. And so the city managers have done what they can do to keep people safe and all that. But no, so we have like Bike Week. We also had like Witches Walk, where they would do that in October. We have a lot of haunted houses and things like that with it being an older town. We're
Sure.
also part of the Underground Railroad, so there's walking tours for that sort of thing. Um, no, I think the challenge is how do we also do the Christmas lights and lighting of the Christmas tree,
Yep.
the Christmas lights and everything goes up. So that's all that kind of traditional stuff. I think that's baseline. You got to do the traditional baseline stuff at least, and maybe twice a year have something that's just so weird and and like what that it catches people's attention, and you've got that email list, and that's the other thing. So there's so many of them that are like, okay, we're going to do this event. They don't know how to do the marketing for the event. So either they spend a ton of money and they just, they get people there, but they spent a ton of money on it and it didn't end up being profitable, or they don't spend the money and nobody shows up and nobody wants to do it again.
Yep.
So having that email list that you already have a relationship with, and then treating it as a launch, an entire launch sequence where you are building up the anticipation along the way, as well as the Facebook ads, which you've done the same launch type of sequence in Facebook ads where you're
Yep.
like, hey, it's coming. And then the next video is like, all right, this is how we're getting ready for it.
Yep. Yep.
And here's some of the things we're going to be doing. Here's the band that's going to be playing.
Yep. Here's some pictures from the last event. Like we had 600 people at the last one. Let's try and beat it this time and get 1,000 people or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly.
Building that
and you
anticipation.
just build it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you find all of the basic ones, all the ones everybody does. St. Patrick's Day needs to be a thing, Oktoberfest, Halloween, Christmas, obviously Santa and the cookie house and all of that good stuff. But then you do need to find some that are I think that it's not even about let's be as weird as we can. It's how do we find the weirdest thing about us we can celebrate.
Sure.
So we have a couple towns over that does walleye festival.
Yeah.
Walleye is the big thing. And so they do. And I think we did a perch fest a couple of times. I don't know. Somebody did a perch fest. But yeah, it's a big walleye festival. There's a giant walleye there. It's kitschy.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is just kind of weird and walleye themed, and people are selling walleye sandwiches. We also have another town does Melon Fest, and they do the specially made just for them from our local dairy. They do the cantaloupe ice cream.
Nice.
Should never be done. That's just like a crime. It's a crime against humanity.
I thought you were a fruit person.
I love fruit. I hate cantaloupe and muskmelon, or what's the other one? Cantaloupe and is it muskmelon? What's the green
honeydew?
One? Honeydew. Ooh, even the name of it. Like those are two words I should like. Put them together and I'm so grossed out.
Yeah.
It's just I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
I'm not a huge fan. Yeah.
No, it's just bad. And even worse at the restaurants, they always serve it like if you get a fruit cup,
it's mostly cantaloupe.
80% water or cantaloupe and honeydew that's underripe.
Yep.
It's so gross. It's so bad. Tim loves it. I can't stand it. But yeah, so what is something unique about your area that you said like doing the zombie thing. You do the zombie thing because they shot a zombie movie in your location. So what is something you could do, something weird that you can latch on to
that has like local cultural significance attached to it? Yeah. And I think that points again to the affinity thing. It's like you want somebody to see your ads and your promotional material for the event and be like, yes, that's me. Like that's, oh my gosh, that's so Fort Myers, or that's
oh my gosh, look at this. This is so cool. We got to go down there and see that.
Yeah. And like down here, I feel like there's a lot of missed opportunity in off season to tap into the people that are here year round. Like there are things that we associate our area with, right? It's like snowbirds come down here every year. You could be like, Snowbird Fest, where we all dress in our best snowbird outfits and wear like sandals and socks and like sunscreen and like Coke bottle glasses. And that would be so fun, right? It's like you're dressing up, it's off season, so there's nothing really going on anyway. And like, you're going to go out and drink and dress like a snowbird. Like, I love that idea.
Well, I think it's even cute to do like a welcome back snowbirds. So right. I know that Dana, the caterer, talks about how she does a lot of like welcome back parties at the associations because everybody's back in. So if you did a big downtown welcome back snowbirds and make it kitschy and fun and poke fun at them a little bit, but like in a fun way.
Yep.
I think that would be cool. What else is down here? I mean, there's so many unique things about Florida, right? Like you got alligators, you've got spoonbills, you've got storks, you've got manatees. And
there's a place right near in kind of my neighborhood that's a farmer's market, and they do like a gator fest or like a gator day every year.
It's been there. It's at the end of that road.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's right
Tim
by
and
my.
I have talked about what would we do if we bought that. We need to do that place in the future.
It just
And
sold.
did it?
Yeah, it
It
just
was
sold.
for sale.
Yeah,
Man, I
yeah,
had
and it's
ideas.
yeah,
We've done full
great.
podcast
Great
episodes on that.
business, yeah. I and like they've built all of that local kind of the local affinity, but it's even like hyper local to that area. You know, they've
Yeah.
that family has been there for whatever 30 years on that property and like has built it over time and just like it's a really great business. But they did Gator Day or Gator Fest, and like I worked with a company that has alligators, and they would bring alligators, and we would do alligator shows there, and they sold alligator, you know, gator tail, and they had alligator leather products, and like that's a there are a lot of, I think, easy opportunities like that, obvious opportunities that a lot of these organizations that we're talking about won't even think about it because it feels too, I don't know, like on the nose or something. It's like, yeah, lean into that. That's what people like. Like they want to feel affinity. They want to feel that tribalism. And
Mhm.
they'll pay for it too. It's like that's what we're trying to do here ultimately is get people to come out and patronize the businesses, and you got to give them a good reason to come out, and that affinity is so powerful to do that. So
And I think that's the other part of it too is you got to look at the businesses that you have and see if there's any connections there as well that fit in. So this is something I do with my handmade sellers clients. We do a giveaway. We do a giveaway party every single month, and we tend to attach it to a to the season or the holiday that's happening. But some months, like August, you don't have much to talk about. Um, June is kind of weird. So then I look at who do I have here that I haven't been able, the previous events haven't really spoke to their people, so I haven't been able to purchase from them to run the party. So how can I tailor make something around them
yeah,
so that they're getting their time in the sun and not always getting overlooked because all the other events are tailored towards these. So I think you need it's as much as I would love to be like, here's all the things you should do. And I, even then, like, I wish I had more ideas. I'm looking down and there's like a pineapple. We do a pineapple fest. Like I got a pineapple sticker right here.
yeah,
Just something that your mango fest, that's an off season. Oh my gosh. You know
that's a
how
good
fast
one.
I would be at the mango fest?
Same.
Mango ice cream,
Yep.
mango growers, teach me all the different varieties of mangoes. Let me just buy. I saw once there was some kind of fruit and vegetable fest in LA. There's a guy I follow that does, he's kind of weird. Eats a lot of fruits and vegetables in LA. He's actually got a huge YouTube channel. But he went to this festival that they had like 40 different varieties of watermelon.
Sure.
And I was like, oh my God. I need a detailed description of every single one of those. And
Yeah.
I need to be able to taste each and every one of them. And he bought
Mm.
like 3 without tasting them. And I'm like, how do you choose? And you get watermelon only lasts so long. But just that sort of thing that speaks to a specific kind of person. Like I don't, witch's walk isn't my thing, but Mango Fest is.
Yep.
So having different things for different groups of people, as well as the kind of generic overarching, everybody, you don't need to be German to go to Oktoberfest,
Yeah.
right? Like everybody wants to go to Oktoberfest.
Yeah. No,
Beer is universal.
beer is universal. That's for sure. Yeah, I'm in. I like all these events, and like now that I'm saying it, like I'm becoming a little bit more proud of our little small medium sized town because we do interesting events. Like I'm not saying that you know they're there, and I'm sure that all of these towns and these organizations are trying. But I think that one of the things that they miss is they don't commit to the bit sometimes, right? It's like that
Mm-hmm.
whole, you know, there's this thing that people say about your town, lean into it. There's this thing about your area, lean into it. That's what people attach themselves to, and will help you build and grow that audience and engage that audience in a meaningful way. So yeah, I'm all in.
Oh my gosh. In Sandusky, we have the boy with the boot. It's kind of our city emblem.
Okay.
It's this boy that holds a boot. It's a statue. And in like 1910, a tornado went through the town. We had all kinds of these statues all through the parks. And they all got destroyed but 2. One was the boy with the boot, and the other one ended up in somebody's private collection. But boy with the boot is actually in City Hall now, and they put a replica on the fountain. So we could have a Boy with a Boot festival and like give prizes for people who dress up as Boy with a Boot and pick the winner of who has the best stance that best matches the Boy with the
Oh,
Boot, right?
great idea.
Um,
Yep.
like there's so much that you could do with just something simple like that. They already have him on the city logo. He's already everywhere.
Hmm.
He's almost like the mascot of downtown is this little
Wow.
Boy with the Boot. Um, so yeah, there find things in your town that make you different, unique, special, and lean into it. And you said something there about like, okay, yeah, these a lot of these towns, and you were saying being proud of Fort Myers, but it's like they do this exactly how a business does this. They're making the same mistake businesses make. We should have an event that will promote us. They start the event, they promote the event, they have the event, they close the event, and then they say, well, now what? What's the next thing?
Yep.
They don't look at these events as part of the whole strategy.
Yep.
Like an event is not a standalone thing. It's a springboard to the next thing. It's integrated in the systems you already have in place. You already have an email list. You already have a following. You already had an event the month before, and you're going to have an event the month after. And this is where I was telling you before how much I love the farmers market, because it was continuity week after week after week. We could keep building on what happened the week before to the week next and have that underlying strategy that tied everything that we did together.
Hmm.
And so the community always saw like, wow, there's all these amazing things that are happening there. And there were no gaps in between. It wasn't, we have a big Oktoberfest. Now we're not going to hear from anybody again until spring.
Yep.
And they might want to do a spring something or another. But sometimes it'd be a whole year. Oh, here's Oktoberfest again. And nobody has heard about the downtown between Oktoberfest 1 and Oktoberfest 2.
Yep.
So even if you're not doing an event a month, and even if you're a local business, you're like, I can't have an event a month. The events are just high points of this ongoing work that you're already doing. And this is why you have to have an integrated strategy from the get-go. Otherwise, you have pieces of marketing and you're not tying the pieces together, and you're never going to get the full value of what it is you're doing if you don't tie those pieces together.
Yes, it's the same thing in my mind as compounding interest in finance, right? So it's like over
Perfect.
time you're adding money to this thing and it starts picking up steam and the interest starts adding, and then the more interest grows, the entire thing grows. And that's the same with your marketing, right? Like if you put $10 into one savings account and then you put $50 into another savings account and then 100 into another one, it's like, and you do that with different bank accounts forever and ever, you're never going to get that compounding, you're never going to get any interest. And you need to think about your marketing the same way, make them all work together, put them in the same account, right? If we're using the finance metaphor, so that they all work together and improve each other and can build upon each previous piece that you used, right? And like I'm guilty of this, right? So the event that you mentioned, or like the campaigns that you mentioned that I've run for events before, where you do the build up to the event. It's like the event's coming. You know, I'm running ads for this event. Here it is. Here it is. 2 days left. Event's tomorrow. Can't wait to see you guys. Have the event. It's really great. It's amazing. And we didn't do anything to collect anybody's emails, right? It's like we didn't have any of that in place for whatever reason. You know, what the client didn't have the budget for me to build that, or it just didn't work out for whatever reason. And now all those people, we don't have a cheap, easy, effective way to maintain that contact with them other than the Facebook page. And there's nothing wrong with a Facebook page, but it would be cheaper the next year when the event rolled around to email all those people that came and then advertise to a whole new group of people to collect those emails as well. And that's that. I've had that conversation with different people, and that's something that I think is really, really important, is understanding how all of these pieces work together.
Well, and I compare it to, and I love your compound interest. I wrote that down. That's a writer downer. That's one I think that we need to be talking about even on Marketing Power Hour. For those of you who don't know, we have a paid program called Marketing Power Hour where you can sit with Duncan and I and learn all of these amazing marketing strategies. But I think that's something we need to bring to Marketing Power Hour, that idea of compound interest. during one of the calls we do upcoming, because that's a beautiful example. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Like if you're spreading your money out and some of it's under your mattress and one's in a bank in a checking account and another's in a savings account, but
And
it
some
doesn't have high
buried in the
yield.
backyard. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But if you put it all into a high yield savings account or an investment account where you have that compounding interest, then it's growing on its. And I say that all the time. It grows on itself. That's exactly what it is. The other metaphor I use for it is like, because I'm from up north, from corn country. So I usually say like it's the same as a wheat field versus an orchard, right? You
Yep.
can plant a wheat field, you go in, you tend the wheat, you plant the wheat field, tend the wheat field, harvest the wheat, but next year you have to start all over from scratch. When you take the time to plant an orchard, it may take some time for those trees to grow, but once they start producing, you're harvesting today, tomorrow, on into the future. And as you add more trees, you're harvesting more and more and more. It takes time for those trees to grow, but then you're getting the reward from it over and over and over again, and you don't have to start all over again like you do for a wheat field.
Yep.
Not that
Yep.
there's not tending that needs to be done, but you're not starting from scratch every single time like with a wheat field.
Yeah, it's about investing your time wisely and investing in something that's going to produce long-term results. Yeah, so I agree 100%. And I do think that, as we've mentioned multiple times, even on this episode, but in all of our episodes, it's something that most businesses fall victim to, right? It's like a lot of the businesses that I talk to have different pieces of marketing, different things that they've kind of tried that didn't really work. And it might be because they don't have another piece that they need, right? It's like you
Mhm.
can't just do this one thing. You can't just run ads without a follow-up strategy. You can't just, like there's so many pieces that need to be there to work together in
Yep.
order to make a strategy work. So very powerful
Well, you
idea for
talked
sure.
about that even like with Facebook ads, right? If you have Facebook ads system, but you don't have a follow-up sales system to go with the Facebook ads. I mean, that's a really that's a kind of in your face example of that, where if you can get all the leads in the world, but if you don't have the follow-up system, it's not going to go anywhere. And you can have 1,000 people show up to an event, but if you don't have a way to capture their information and find ways to get them to come back to you at other times, then what was the event for? You put all of this work in for this one potential payoff when you could have the payoff going for years. Things that I did in my business, my online business, things that I did in 05, 06, 07, 08, 09, 010, or 010, 10, are still coming back and paying us. Like those things that we did way back then, because we were really strategic with what we did.
Yeah.
So that work that we put in is work that, while maybe it didn't give me a huge bump in that moment, it's given me that long-term stability that just, I think most businesses don't think that far.
Yep.
And with that, I do want to talk about like social media just for a minute, because we can tell the stories. The other thing that we did at the farmers market that I think could be done for an entire community is we would have a this week at the market post every single week. What to expect at the market this week. And you can do that with a downtown area. This is, again, I thought where our organization completely missed the boat. The director should have been in shops pretty much every day throughout the week.
Yep.
You should have been visiting some of the shops. What is happening? What is going on? What are they doing? When we moved into our shop, the landlord had to drag the director down to welcome us. And then he's like, okay, let us know if you need anything. And if I hadn't joined, I never would have seen him again.
Yeah.
Like he just disappears. So if you have somebody, and what I would do at the farmer's market is, while the market is going, I'd go around like, hey, what do you guys bring in next week? Is there anything going to be in season next? Oh yeah, we're going to have Red Haven peaches next week. All right, perfect. What about you? What are you going to have this week? And we would find out some new things. And then we would also find things that were there every week that were interesting and cool, but we hadn't featured before. So the guy selling breakfast sandwiches, if we hadn't talked about them before, we'll get a picture of somebody biting into a breakfast sandwich. And then we would do a grid, like a four picture grid. And in the middle, it said this week at the market. and we would put 4 pictures representing what was coming the next week.
Hmm.
So if somebody's scrolling, they say this week at the market, and they could kind of like, oh, peaches. And we had a long post. It was a long post of, all right, Red Haven peaches are going to be in. Phillips are going to have Red Haven peaches. These are the super sweet peaches that everybody likes.
Hmm.
All right, this person's going to have this. And if you haven't tried one of Grumpy's sandwiches, definitely check those out because he sells out of those by 10 o'clock every morning. So get there early if you want a Grumpy sandwich. And we would go through all of the things that were happening that were different or unique at the market that week.
Yeah.
And I think you could totally do that with the downtown area. Like this week downtown, this brewery just released their new 4 fall flavors.
Yep.
Right. This restaurant has duck on the menu this week. This shop just got a new shipment of these, and here's one of the cool little things that they got. The city workers put up the Christmas lights for the season and pictures of the city workers putting. So it's almost like a little news bulletin of everything that's happening that people would actually care about. So nobody really cared when beets came in season. Nobody was like, woohoo, the beets and the zucchini are here. But we looked for the things that would actually motivate them. So
Sure.
Peaches motivate them. Beets, although we did feature beets one time and told people about beet brownies. Like, here's how to make beet brownies. And you need to go, if you buy your beets from Rachel's Veggies, they'll give you a recipe card for beets brownies.
Sure.
Beet brownies, right? So just all these, they loved it. They loved it. And it was a perfect thing to post throughout the week and boost. We would actually boost that. And it would get in front of people and they're asking questions. Oh, is so-and-so going to be there? And they'd get all excited about it. It's, again, a no-brainer sort of thing that you can do. There are already interesting things happening within that downtown area already. You don't even have to create anything. You could.
Yeah, it's already there. Just like the stories of people. It's like the stories about what's going on there are already there. All you got to do, you're not really even, I don't know. It's like the hard part of content creation to me is coming up with the ideas. It's like, where do I even start? What do I do? It's like the ideas are already there. There's shops, there's people, interesting products, interesting food. It's like, just go ask. Like, go actually be curious about your downtown area in a way that someone thinking about going and experiencing it would be, and then just share whatever is there. I think that's a great way to do it. And like people want, this is another common theme that we bring up. It's like people just want a reason to get up off the couch. They want, you just give them a good enough reason to like go do something other than be bored looking at their phone. And like, they're already bored looking at their phone, so they're probably going to scroll and see it.
Way, in a, hey, this is really cool and awesome, not in a, come buy from us.
Yes. Yep. I agree 100%. And we can talk about that. Like, there's the interruption marketing, which is like less marketing and more advertising. It's like you're interrupting somebody and saying this is something that you need to go experience or do, because if you don't, you're an idiot or whatever. It's like, that's one way to do it. And like, what we're talking about is very different. It's almost like saying to somebody, man, I was just at this really amazing party, and like I this happened, this person showed up, there were these things there, and like, it was just the coolest time ever. And they do it every week at this time. It's like, how crazy is that? All you're doing is like telling them that something is happening, and they letting them do the rest. It's like, oh man, I can't believe I missed that. I got to go next time. Or I can't believe that party is happening right now. We need to go there and check it out. So showmanship, a little bit of fun, and give people something to do. Yeah,
and you have to throw a party worth talking about.
Yep.
That's the big thing. And again, if you are making the posts every week to your page, to advertise another business, which I see a lot of them that, I want to advertise the businesses in the area. That's what our organization is about. And they go in, they do the advertising, and it's so freaking boring.
Yep.
That, so-and-so sells, has a 2-for-1 special or whatever. It's not a party worth talking about. Nobody wants to talk about it, but people like news. There are whole TV stations devoted to news. Yeah. People want to know what is happening, what is changing, what is different. They ask in the Facebook groups, hey, are the Christmas lights in Fort Myers up yet? We wanted to go down. So you're giving them information they already want to know. These are already the questions that they're having. And then you're also putting stuff in front of them that's like, ooh, they have new beer flavors. Like, that sounds fun. Ooh, maple caramel IP. I don't know. I'm not a beer person.
Beer is universal, Ali.
I'm I'm German and Irish, and I don't have any desire. um, but if you use that news to tempt them, to create desire, to make them want it, not make them want it, to unleash that part of themselves that wants a new unique
Hmm.
experience, and you're saying, here, come on down, you're going to go out and drink this weekend anyhow, so come on down here, look at this cool new thing that we have.
Yep, and make them afraid of missing out too, right? It's like it'll give them a little bit of FOMO. Like, look at all the fun we're having down here. Can't believe you're sitting at home on your couch, kind of thing. There's a lot of interesting stuff that you can tap into when it comes to fun, which is why I like it. I like selling fun, Allie. I think we should start a fun business.
I want to be a director of a nonprofit now. Like, you have no idea how much it kills me, how much it killed me to walk away from what I did, and to watch it crumble around me as there was all of this opportunity, just for the taking, all of this opportunity for the taking. And the first time I actually quit, um, I was irritated, yes. I was happy that I was quitting, but honestly, we were moving to Florida the first time. So I couldn't stay. Like, I would have stayed, but I was already getting irritated and the organization was falling apart. When we came back, the organization was bare bones. I'm like, good, they're not going to pay attention to me. I could go off and do, but then I became like one of the biggest raisers of funds for the organization. Now they started paying attention to me again. I'm like, no, 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 don't notice us. We're going to hide over here, and you
Yep.
don't need to know that we even exist. Then the city got involved, and that's when I was like, no, I got to go,
Yep.
because they had their own opinions of what was going to go on, and it was ridiculous. So I mean, it's always been in my heart that I want to do something like this. I want to be the person that visits all the shops and says, hey, Mary, what's going on today? And to be able to be that connection between the shops and the community and say, Mary isn't good about telling her story, but I can tell Mary's story, and I can tell all of their stories, and I can do it in an effective way. And I can be that bridge. Like, that's what I always thought. Like, I can be that bridge between them not understanding how to do marketing and my already desire to want to know what they're doing anyhow, and then taking that to the public and making the downtown small town famous.
Yep.
Just absolutely plastering the area with information. And the nice thing is here's the other reason why it's got to be a nonprofit. When it's a nonprofit promoting other businesses, you get all kinds of free media opportunities too. You're much more likely to get picked up in the newspaper. I've been on radio before because we were a nonprofit, right? You have a nonprofit with a thing going on, come onto the radio and come tell us about it. So you do get a lot more opportunities that way too. Even the press treats you differently. They don't see you as self-serving and self-motivated
Yep.
the way they do a business.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Love it. Yeah, I think we covered a lot. I think that
We could go
there's
2 more hours. I could go 2 more hours.
That's exactly what I was saying. It's like there's so much there, right? Like, we didn't really even get into like different the possibility for different demographic events, right? I think that's something that's
Yes.
missed a lot of the time. It's like we got to make a broad demographic thing that's fun and accessible for everybody. And I'm like, no. Like, let's do the, I don't know, crocheters of Fort Myers event. Like, you know what I'm saying? Maybe not
Do a
that.
sock hop.
Oh, sock hop. Oh, that's so great. You know what I mean? Like you could do
Yeah.
like generational events, and there's enough of those people in that demographic to do a full scale event. And I think that some of those would even perform better than like the broad general events. So yeah, we could go
Yeah,
another like 2-3 hours for sure.
and we had we had a local theater that was just a small movie theater, but also concerts and things go in there, and they had started using their event space, so they brought in the Red Hat ladies, and the Red Hat ladies came in town and they did this whole thing where we could make products to sell to the Red Hat ladies. That did pretty well. So if you could have an event space, so we got to go back to the bank episode. I wish I remember the episode numbers. You got to go back to the bank episode, and we have that bank right in downtown with that big meeting event space. And the bank is going to work with this nonprofit and make the space available for other types of events that they can bring right into the downtown area.
All right.
Because I think that's, if you can do an inside event space, especially with here in the summer and up north in the winter, there's times of the year there's only so much you can do outside.
Yep.
It's going to be 8 degrees in Sandusky later this week. We need to be inside.
8 degrees. Oh,
8 degrees. No, it gets worse.
Are you're going back, right?
When we sell the house, at this point, I'm hoping to sell the house in like March.
Yeah. I was gonna say you gotta wait until it warms up a little bit at least. Holy cow!
It's just absolutely brutal up there in the winter. Ridiculous.
I was trying to look up the bank episode number, but my computer's like, nope, can't do 2 things at once. Anyway, I agree that we could go on and on about this topic. I think we covered it fairly well in a way that I think would grow a downtown area better than would be grown if it wasn't marketing people, right? I think we would knock this downtown out of the park. Do you have any last words, Ali?
First last word is the bank episode is episode 9.
You looked it up?
I did.
All right.
I was fast and efficient.
I just didn't have my keyboard.
It's on the same window that I'm on, so I just had to
my keyboard's back here. I didn't want to be rude and grab it.
So yeah, that's episode 9 is the bank episode, which is one of my favorite episodes. This may be one of my favorite episodes too. And the only thing I dislike about this episode is that we try to keep it at an hour and a half. Because I honestly, there's so much opportunity, and I think it does so much good even beyond just helping the businesses. It does good for our community. It does good for society. It's a good human thing to do. And I think that there were times that people would look at even our organization, Main Street, and be like, oh, you're just trying to help businesses. But it wasn't that. It was about the soul of the city, and trying to bring activities and bring the community together and just heal the broken hearts of the town and heal the downtown area. And it was just fantastic. So I'm super nostalgic now. I apologize if I took over way too much of this episode. I feel like I did.
No.
And I could do it for a whole another 2 hours because I'm so passionate.
Have a feeling, we've talked a couple times about your experience in this niche, and I thought it might be a fun one for you to kind of get, some I don't know, vindication, right? Like, these are the ideas that I wanted to do. This is what would have worked. Exactly. Yeah. So I did this for you, Ali.
And now with the digital age, there's no excuse.
Yeah.
There's no excuse. We could run roughshod over this whole thing. Like, thank you, Duncan. This was a very nice gift. I'll take this as you got me a Christmas gift, so I'll take this as my birthday gift.
Belated birthday. Yep. Happy birthday, Ali.
Thank you.
Awesome. So I think that does it for the episode. Make sure that you check out, if you're watching this, make sure you check out the Marketing Ping Pong Facebook group. Ali and I put marketing tips in there almost every day, pretty much every day. And we help you grow your business with specific tactics and strategies, kind of like the ones we talked about here. And we'll see you in the next one.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.